anyways, when it comes to organophosphates, what they do is they say that they use these pesticides to control pestilence. So they say that we use a pesticide which is basically organophosphate, and they say, you know, we use it to kill off insects, and we use it to kill off, for example, rodents or whoever. And while really they use organophosphates as a pesticide to shorten the lifespan and to cull the population. So, for example, they write all these scientific papers about birds or what is called pollinators, like butterflies, moths, and bees. And they say, for example, they have this graph, and they say, well, this moth or this butterfly got treated with pesticide, the organophosphate, and its flight span got shorter by 30%. But it's really like some quote-unquote Royal Society of some scientific institution, or Cambridge University, or Oxford something, or like it can be any country, but it's basically them British MI6 mofols who are doing this. So they have this graph saying like, and the flight of a butterfly or the flight of the moth was reduced, the span of it, by 30%, and it became less fertile by 40%. And they are kind of bragging about it to each other metaphorically, because you can extrapolate with a percentile, so with a percent of the flight of this butterfly is basically the percent in which your life will be shortened, and they don't have to pay you a pension. Like, you have to pay tax all your life so that you will be paid pension, but indeed you will not live to see your pension, or you will not reproduce. So, and this is a very cunning way in which they kill off people, make them develop cancer, and then they say it's your fault because you carry this in your seed or in your ovaries. It's your fault because you have this in your blood, in your DNA, okay? It's not something we do to you. It's your inheritable disease. You passed it on, okay? So if your child dies, it's because you passed it on, okay, in your blood, okay? So don't blame them. Don't blame them. Although they deliver all kinds of speeches like Boris Johnson, that only he and his father are brave enough to address overpopulation issue. And they talk about all the time in their Daily Mail, New York Times articles, how everything is overpopulated and how they create this immigration crisis. Like they say, so many hundreds of thousands people enter, and so on and so forth, so that people would think, and they create these traffic jams artificially when it all can be managed, to have this idea in your head that something is overpopulated, and they disrupted all these delivery chains so that there will be this hunger problem or shortages of wheat, all by design, all on purpose. But when it comes to all these insects and birds and other what is called pollinators, it's a very complicated mechanism in which flowers get pollinated. And by the way, there are videos on Vion or other YouTube channels that clearly show that they make this vaccine was made from one of these moth ingredients. So what they do, the butterflies are not only attracted to color of the flower, the butterfly are also attracted by the smell. And what is smell? It's some hormonal function. So they feed on this nectar and they use this nectar from the flower as a fuel. And they process it through their body and they spread it with their wings. So that through the wings they like sweat it or something like that. So they turn this poison which is on the flower, etc., to microdust. What they do is basically they mix the poison with hormones. So they incorporate the poison organophosphates into their hormonal system, and then they excrete it in the form of microdust as well. So basically we people have similar hormonal structure as them. And when you think about hormones, it's like smell. Like when you sweat out hormones as well. Your bodily fluids, they excrete hormones. And this is just a smell, okay? So this is how it is. This is how it is. It's in form of ether. In form of ether. And this is very tricky, and this makes it a perfect murder, because you can never prove that something that they poisoned with pesticides, because a butterfly or a bee or intermediate animal or insect have run it through their system. They created a compound which made the poison to be their integral part of the hormones. And you will catch it. You will catch this poison in a form of a smell or in a form of magnetic field. So that for them it would be like a perfect murder. And they will tell you they just care about you, so that your food will not be eaten by insects, or you won't have worms in your apple or something like that. They will tell you. That's why they use this organophosphate pesticide, although it's a nerve agent which they use at war. So this is a tricky stuff, and this is perfect murder, because how are you going to prove that your cancer is related to a pesticide organophosphate? Okay? That's what it is.